this video we're looking at Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf. Lots of goodies in this song to tackle on the guitar. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to go over the chords, and then we'll work through each section, getting any tips that I think might be helpful for you. So chords, E bar chord at the 7th fret. I'm not barring with my index finger here. I'm just pressing that 5th string down. I'm not worried about that 1st string. And then I've got finger 3 barring across, little hinge bar across strings 4, 3, and 2 at the 9th fret. So 7, 9, 9, 9. E major. Then we have a G major bar chord here at the 3rd fret. So frets from string 6 to 1, 3, 5, 5, 4, 3, 3. Take that exact same shape, slide it up 2 frets. You got A major, 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, 5. That bar is going across string 6, well, all 6 strings, but it's sounding strings 6, 2, and 1. And just one more. Oh no, we have D major as well. Same as the bar chord for E that we went over first there. Just lowered 2 frets. E at the 7th and 9th frets. D at the 5th and 7th frets. My middle finger is not doing anything there, just in case you're wondering. And then E7 sharp 9, a very common chord for the guitar and just rock music in general and blues. So I'm on string 5 fret 7, finger 2, string 4 fret 6, finger 1, string 3 fret 7, finger 3, and string 2 fret 8, finger 4. So strings 5, 4, 3, 2. That's finger 2, finger 1, finger 3, finger 4, fret 7, 6, 7, 8. Great little chord there. Okay, so on the intro, we're going to be here with our E bar chord, and we're going to play this rhythm. And then that is followed by a little blues riff. So when I get into that blues riff, I change my fingering here. So when I'm playing the chord, I'm using finger 3 for that bar right there. And then when the little blues lick comes up, or blues riff, I'm going to move to finger 2. So I've got string 5 fret 7, string 4 fret 9. The reason I do that is because my pinky has to reach out for string 4 fret 11 and string 4 fret 12, and my hand is just not big enough to make it comfortable to use 3 there. So a little bit, maybe a little bit more difficult of a fingering because we have to change. But if you can pull finger 3 off comfortably, then go for it. I'm sure that's what most people would do, but I just had to modify it because I wasn't comfortable putting that strain on my hand, which is something to watch out for. You don't want to put undue stress on joints and whatnot. So all of that together. And if you are going to use finger 2 like I'm doing, notice that when I get out of the bar chord, I kind of rotate this way to allow myself to stretch for these higher frets easier or more easily. Watch. Right there, I'm going to change my position and relax that index finger a little bit. So that little blues riff is 9, 11, 9, 12 being played with the 5th string as well. Okay, so decide what fingering you want to use, whatever works best for you, and then add in the muting with the heel of your hand and the left hand relaxing. Combine it with the little blues riff. right, then that brings us to the verse, very similar to the intro, but at the start we're going to be palm muting instead of strumming the E chord. So I'm going to have my fingers in place for that E chord. I'm going to line up the heel of my hand with the saddle on the guitar so I can get just a little bit of sound coming from the chord. You just adjust your hand horizontally along the strings to find that sweet spot. You don't want to be completely muted, obviously. And the more volume distortion you have using, the more is going to come through. So, you know, keep that in mind. Play around with your tone and your settings. But in any case, starts with a palm mute. And then, similar to the intro, we're going to strike the E chord at the end there, and then we're going to get into our blues riff again. Okay, so palm mute, strum, strum, and blues riff. So I think the main thing to work out there is just your left hand transition. If you're going to use finger 3, it's going to be, I think it'll feel a little easier. But nonetheless, you still have to think about where that pick is traveling and direct it to strings 5 and 4 when you're playing that part. But I'm doing all down picking, all down strumming there. Okay, that brings us to the bridge here. So I'm going to start with my G chord, G bar chord at the 3rd fret. I'm going to hit the root note on string 6 and then strum a good chunk of the rest of the chord. I don't necessarily have to hit every string there. If you do, it's not going to hurt it. I typically just go for the inside string set there. And then same thing on the A chord, string 6, strum the rest of the chord there. And then we're going to be in, we're going to hit that open 6 string, string 4 fret 9, string 3 fret 7, string 3 fret 9 with a bend. That's going to go up and down, string 3 fret 7, string 4 fret 9. Second lick starts the same way, but here I'm going to be at frets 5 and 7 on strings 5 and 4. So 7 on 5, 5 on string 4, 7 on 4 with a bend, 5 on 4, 7 on 5. There I'm bending down. On the other one I was bending up. This one I'm bending down. Okay, and then the last one starts the same way. Open string 6, and then string 3 fret 7, string 4 fret 9, string 4 fret 7, hammer on to 9, back to string 3 fret 7. Okay, G chord, A chord. There's one other lick that comes around the second time the bridge comes through, which is basically this exact same lick right here, but it's an octave higher, so it's at the 3rd string, 9th fret, 2nd string, 8th fret, 2nd string, 10th fret. So you'll hear that the second time the bridge comes around, but the first time through, this is what you'll hear. strum an E chord, let it ring out, and go back to the verse, depending on what part of the song you're in, or it's going to jump into the pre-chorus. We're going to see E, G, and A in the pre-chorus, and we're just going to put a little bit more rhythm and strumming to it, which is going to sound like this. So it's down, rest, up, rest, up, rest, up, down, up, 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 down, up, up, and I'm just using both my right and left hands again to mute the strings to create that break to get the rest. And then you're going to jump to a G chord. A, G, E. So that whole pre-chorus coming out of the bridge. So just to put it into context, I'll come out of the bridge into the pre-chorus. So the last lick of the pre-chorus. So that was 3 measures on E, 2 on G, 1 on A, 1 on G, and on E. Okay, and that brings us to the chorus. We're just going to have our E and D chord here. So this is when he's singing Born to Be Wild. We're going to play that E chord for 2 measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then E again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and D. And then here, when I was playing it in the beginning, I threw in this little bass note, string 5 fret 4, string 5 fret 5. So all of that together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and E, 2, 3, 4, D, and bass line. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then that brings us to the organ solo, where we're just going to be hammering on an E chord. So that rhythm, same E chord, that rhythm is going to be. So down, rest, up, down, rest, up, rest, up, rest, up, down, up, rest, up. I'm just going to play once through the rhythm, and then so you know what's repeating over and over. And then right there it would be starting over again. So down, up, down, up, 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 down, up, repeat. So there again, I'm just using my left and right hand, both hands, to get those rest in between. So if you want to know the beat counts, there would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So on and so forth. And then we get to our E7 sharp 9 chord. This is probably my favorite part of the song. Just real aggressive strumming and muted raking. So one note about the E7 sharp 9 chord, we showed the fingering earlier in the song, but I'm going to lean my pinky. I could use my pinky or kind of the lower part of my index finger to mute that high E string, and then I'm using my middle finger to mute that 6th string. So I'm in position, already muting those 2 strings, and then when I need to do the muted rake, I just relax my left hand and I'm good to go. All right? So you don't get any stray strings ringing out. Again, pinky or lower part of the index finger muting that string 1, and middle finger just leaning up just a little bit to touch the underside of string 6 to mute that. Okay, let me just play through this and then we'll go through the directions and timing and all that. Okay, so the first 3 strums, down, up, down. It's a dotted 8th, 16th, and an 8th. So it's a quick little up strum back to down. Okay, keep a loose wrist. Then we're going to relax our left hand, and we're going to get an up rake, down rake, up rake, down rake, and then up strum, miss, up strum, down rake, up rake, down rake, up rake, down rake, up rake. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, and then there's a little solo, if you want to call it that. I believe they're playing it with a slide. Just on string 1, frets 12, 10, and 9, and you can decide what fingers you want to use there. You can just use one finger, really. 12, 12, 10, 9, 10, 12. Which is really just ripping that off from the chorus. If I remember correctly, I think it only goes through that little line twice, and then it's going to jump back in to the verse. So I think the intro and the verse are pretty straightforward, but I'm going to go from the bridge into the pre-chorus, into the chorus, through the organ solo riff, and then the little transition with the E7 sharp 9. Just so you guys can hear how that's pieced together, and I'll do it at a slower tempo. All right, so this is bridge into the pre-chorus, chorus, solo, E7 sharp 9. 7 sharp 9. Same thing here, 4 times I believe. And a little solo. And at the end, it just starts playing around with going higher up, 15, 17, 19, I believe. So just kind of playing around on one string there. There you have it, guys. That one, you know, there's so many little details with the hands going on there. So certainly break it down into those individual moments, the intro by itself, the verse by itself, the bridge by itself with the individual licks. Then the pre-chorus rhythm with the muting. I think the chorus is straightforward as long as you got bar chords down. And then the organ solo and the transition with either completely muted rest in between or muted rakes in between. I think there's a lot of reward in that one to get it up to speed and play along with the audio. Of course, start slow and build it up little by little. Have fun. See you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.